It's catching fire with everyone. Indian fever. You can be part of the fun. You're the winner at every game. That's when the excitement begins. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer with the Cleveland Indians. Welcome to the January 4th, 2019 Lake County Sentinel Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Shirer, publisher and editor of the Lake County Sentinel. And we got a lot in our half hour tonight. We'll have 15 minutes of sports and then 15 minutes of news and politics. So let's get right to it. We've got some schedules we'll talk about tonight and a little information about the men are icebreakers. But let's start with the Cleveland Cavs. They are in action tonight at the Q against the Utah Jazz at 7:30. They are 8-30. They have the worst record in the NBA. They're rebuilding. We all know that. That should be understood at this point. We'll talk later in the show how some people don't understand that and how they understood one team rebuilding, but they don't understand one or two others rebuilding. So the Cavs are 8-30. They're rebuilding. They're last in the NBA in record. They welcome in the Utah Jazz, who are 18-20. They're in 12th place in the West. I think they're kind of a disappointment this year. So I don't think that, Quinn Snyder, he can't be real comfortable out there in Utah with Utah right now. I would think that things better improve or he may be losing his job. That's just my opinion. But the game's at 7:30 tonight at Q. They'll be giving away a Jetty Osmond tumbler. So that's a nice item if you're a Cavs fan. And you're a Jetty Osmond fan. I think he's an upcoming player in the NBA. I think it's been rough this year for him at times, but he's also had times where he's looked good. So, he's still a young player. And I think that, it's just going to be development for a lot of these guys on the Cavs. Some will develop and end up being good players and some won't. That's just how it goes. So, like I said, the Cavs tonight against the Utah Jazz at the Q. Moving on, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Monsters. They'll be in action tomorrow at the Q against the Utica Comets. They'll also be in action against them on Sunday at 3:00. Utica is tied with the Monsters for third place in the Northern Division of the American League. They play at 1:00 tomorrow, the two teams, and they square off at 3:00 on Sunday. So the Monsters are 17-11-4. The Utica Comets are 18-16-2. So the two teams are tied, and they could end up being tied at the end of the weekend, or one team could win both and one would have an advantage. So we'll see, what happens, and hopefully the Monsters can at least split this weekend and be no worse than they were going in. It would be great if they could take both games. So moving on, we're going to move on to the Mentor Icebreakers, who play tonight in Watertown against the Watertown Wolves. The Wolves are in second place in the Franklin Hockey League. They are 12-8, and they have 40 points. The Icebreakers are in dead last place in the Franklin Hockey League. They are 6-16. They have 18 points. Forward we have some stats tonight. I mean, we talk about them. We give you the schedule. I figured, I should start giving you some stats about this team. Some things about them that maybe would make, people more interested. Forward Mark Essery is the leading scorer on the team. He has 22 goals. Or he's 24 points in 22 games. 13 goals and 11 assists. He's the leading scorer on the club. He's played in every game. And then we got Brody Duncan, defenseman Brody Duncan. This guy, I like this guy in my fantasy hockey league if I could have him on my team because he gets a lot of penalty minutes. He leads the team in penalty minutes with 92. So he's averaging like almost, he's averaging like 4 penalty minutes a game, which I like that. That would really helps in a fantasy league where you have that category, penalty minutes. Yeah, sometimes the NHL teams play 2-3 games a week. He'd give me 12 penalty minutes himself. I like that a lot. And you throw in a game misconduct there, which is always a good thing. So Brody Duncan is the leading enforcer on the Icebreakers. Like I said, with 92 penalty minutes, and I believe he's played in all 22 games too. I don't know, unless he's been suspended, which is possible. I didn't check that, and that's a good possibility. Derek Moser is the winningest goalie. He's got all the wins for the Icebreakers. So the other goalies they've had are 0-11. Derek Moser, he's 6-5, 3.73 goals against average, which is pretty good. Considering you've seen some of the scores where they've given up 6-8 goals in a game. He's got an 898 goals against percentage. I'm not exactly sure where like the league average is or what's good, but I know if a guy's under 900 in my fantasy league, I usually get rid of him. But 898 isn't terrible. It's not too far under. So it's not, it looks like the goalkeeping has improved. They're, like I said, they're 6-16. They started out 0-6, so they're 6-10 in their last 16 games. From everything I've heard, they've added a lot of players as the year has gone on. It seems to me, just looking at the scores, they probably added some defense. Because some of those scores early were really ugly, and they've gotten better. And you got a goalie with a 3.73 goals against average. The defense has to be okay because, that's not a horrible goals against average. It's actually pretty good in a league like that. So, so Derek Moser's doing a good job. He's over 500 on it. He's 6-5 on a team that's 6-16. So obviously he's done a good job. So hopefully he can play every game the rest of the way, and maybe the Icebreakers will get, near 500 and possibly make the playoffs. I don't know how many teams that league makes the playoffs. There's 6 teams. I would imagine 4. That's just me imagining, thinking that probably that's how it is. We're going to move on now. We still have NFL predictions, but I'm going to move on for a few minutes. And I'm just going to talk about, people that know me, they know that I have this problem with Jim Donovan. And, I know people in Cleveland love him. He's a great broadcaster for the Browns. And I'm not going to deny that he is a great football broadcaster. He's very good at that. And he is very good on his 7:00 show, Donovan Live. I'm not going to deny those two things. But his sportscast on the 6 and 11 o'clock news, he runs that sports department. He's horrible bias toward the Browns. Any chance he gets to rip the Indians and Cavs, he takes it. He just takes it. Like he ripped the Cavs last night. Let's just talk about the Browns. And then they even have Russ Mitchell, who I really respect a lot. Playing into it. On the 6 o'clock show tonight. he wasn't on there, Jim Donovan, tonight. Um, there was a fill-in for him, and Russ said, "What's the Cavs record again?" Kind of like laughing, and she commented with, "Oh, let's just stick with the Browns." Well, yeah, because for 19 years we really couldn't stick with the Browns when we talked about record because they were absolutely god awful. And now we're acting like the Browns have won the Super Bowl or something because they were, 7-8-1. I told people for years this was going to happen, that they were going to make it like the Browns were NFL champions when they were still below average. They were still below average, people. But now it's easier to rip the Cavs who are rebuilding. Jim Donovan understood when the Browns are rebuilding. It was okay that they were bad. But now when the Cavs are doing it, that's not acceptable. Let's make fun of them. I just don't understand why that channel does that, why that news department at Channel 3 does that. It is disgusting. It's disgusting. So I think that, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. I was telling my son today when we were driving, I was just telling him about Nev Chandler and what a great broadcaster he was, what a great sports anchor he was, that he treated each team equally. Browns, Cavs, Indians. He treated them equally. He was a broadcaster for the Indians and the Cavs, and the Browns. He was a broadcaster for the Browns when he passed away. But you never saw a bias there. You never did. He would go down and cover spring training. Jim Donovan never goes down and covers spring training, ever. They always send someone else. He never goes down. He never goes down. I just think that it's wrong. Don't tell me that you're being fair. Don't act like you're being fair to all three teams when you constantly rip two of the teams and kiss the ass of the team you work for constantly. Nev Chandler didn't do it. Casey Coleman didn't do it on Channel 8. They were fair. Okay? But I guess that's the world we live in now. Browns fans will deny anything. Browns fans, I've said it before, Browns fans are a lot like Trump supporters. They will deny anything you say if they don't completely agree with you. No, that's not true. Well, he's biased, and it is true. And it's wrong. Let's move on to the NFL predictions. My son is not here with us tonight. He's not in the studio with us, but he left me his predictions. Last week, for the 16 games, he was 13-3 with 111 points. I was 12-4 with 109. For the year, I have 1,014 points. He has 942. So our picks for the week. He picks the Colts to beat the Texans with 12 confidence points. I picked the Colts to beat the Texans with 4 confidence points. That's the first matchup of the weekend at 4:35 tomorrow. Then we have the Seattle at Dallas. I pick Seattle to win the game with 8 confidence points. My son, Tommy, he picks the Seahawks to win with 4 confidence points. So, those are our 2 picks there with that. And then we go to the Sunday game. He picks the Chargers to defeat the Ravens with 8 points. I picked the Ravens, as much as I don't like it. I picked the Ravens to defeat the Chargers with 12 points. And then we've got the Eagles and Bears. Eagles at the Bears. I'm going to pick the Eagles with 16 confidence points. Tommy picks the Bears with 16 confidence points. I said, this is my thought of it. Either the Eagles are going to get knocked out, blown out tomorrow and knocked out, or they're going to win tomorrow and they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. There's no in between with them, I have a feeling. And Nick Foles he's proven that he's clutch. So those are the NFL picks for this week. And after this short break, we will be back with the second half of our show right after this. Welcome back to the second half of tonight's Lake County Sentinel Podcast. My name is Tim Shirer. I'm your host. You can follow us on Twitter at LCSentinelCom or Sports Sentinel. That's on Twitter also. Or you can follow us. Our Facebook page is the Lake County Sentinel. Or you could look up our website, www.lakecountysentinel.com. That's www.lakecountysentinel.com. Sentinel, SENTINEL.com. All right. Thanks for joining us. The second half of the show tonight, we're going to talk about the government shutdown and the border wall that Trump continues to say that, he's going to keep the government shut down until he gets his wall. He's not going to do anything else. He's going to keep the government shut down because he promised his supporters, that he's going to get this wall built. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care how many people miss their paychecks. He even said today, which is, I would have to think is a blatant lie. I'm sure a lot of people, I saw one person come out and say that's not true. They're all right with it. He says these government workers are, most of them, he said, are okay with missing their paychecks to get this border wall. They're okay with it. How does he know? There's 800,000 workers out of a job. Or they're working, but they're not getting a paycheck. And he thinks it's okay. And he claims that the majority of them, that it's okay. This guy is ridiculous. There's no way that people are happy with missing a paycheck, going to work but not getting paid. Are you kidding me? He's such a liar. He just lies all the time. And his supporters just buy into it and twist it when he lies. And it's just unbelievable. I just can't even fathom being a Trump supporter. Like I said, I can't imagine knowing that it's a lie, but I'm going to say that it isn't a lie. I can't imagine that. How do these people look themselves in the mirror? I just don't understand. How do they look themselves in the mirror? How do they look themselves in the mirror without laughing at themselves? I mean, you know what I mean? Give me a break. Blatant lies over and over and over again by this guy. It's just unbelievable. So, he's standing firm. Nancy Pelosi's standing firm. She's not giving him money for a wall. And he says he's going to get money for a wall. They're two very stubborn people. There's no doubt about it. But as I said yesterday, I think she's the right person to battle him on this because she will stand by her convictions and she's not going to give him. I think the only way she gives in is if the majority of her caucus comes to her and says, okay, we got to give it. We got to do something here to get the government back open. So I think if that happens, then, she might give in. But I don't know. I don't think she's going to give in very easy because I think she feels very strongly about this, and I just don't think she's going to give in. And it could go on for a while, just like he said. It could go on for a while. So he's making stuff up as he goes, and there's no way. I like when the reporter asked him today if he could build the wall, if he could get around Congress and build the wall. You could tell the way that guy answered that question. He had never thought of that until the reporter asked that question. And then he acted like I've been thinking about that for a while. No, you hadn't. You could clearly see the look on his face. He had no clue that that was a possibility before that reporter asked that question. You could just see it written all over his face. Like, my God, this guy just came up with something I didn't think of. I mean, you could see it. He's not smart enough to have thought of that before. You know, he's not. He didn't think of that before. It's unbelievable. But his supporters will say, "Oh, he thought of that three years ago. He said it." You know, they make stuff up just like he does. So later in the day, then there was a little bit of controversy. And I think there should be maybe a little bit of controversy. I think, I guess I'll say it like Nancy Pelosi said it. She should have used better language. At, I don't know if it was like a victory party or a party after she was sworn in yesterday. But Rashida Talib, she is the first Muslim woman ever in Congress. Good for her. We need diversity in Congress. Don't worry, Trump supporters. One Muslim in Congress, she's not going to overthrow the government. So don't worry about that. I think we're safe. But she, someone asked her about impeaching Trump, and she said, we're going to effing impeach him. Or we're going to impeach she used the F word. Well, she shouldn't have. But the funny thing is, the Republicans being disgusted by her language. Disgusted by her language. When several times George Bush got caught swearing when he thought the mic was off, Dick Cheney swore right on the floor, said the F word right on the floor of Congress. He didn't care. That was okay with them. These hypocrites. It's so amazing. They're the most hypocritical people that ever walked the face of the earth. They're just so, they criticize for things they've done in the past, or things that they did in the past are now okay, yet when they find something that a Republican or Democrat did in the past, it's still wrong. It's so amazing how they all wanted Clinton. And the Clintons are a perfect example of the Republican hypocrisy. We can't, if his wife can't trust him, how can we trust him? Yeah, they elect a president who's been divorced twice, cheated on both his wives, and reportedly has cheated on this wife too. But we should believe him because we can't judge him from the past. But they had no problem judging Bill Clinton from his past. It's not even surprising anymore how I'm surprised if they don't come up with something that's hypocritical, because that's what they are. They are truly, truly some of the biggest hypocrites to ever walk the face of the earth. Should Rashida Talib have used different comments? Yeah, she should have worded it differently. There's no doubt about it. But is what she said any different than some of the horrible, hateful things that Republicans say at their town hall meetings? And some of their town hall meetings turn into Ku Klux Klan rallies. Okay, but they have a problem with her saying, using the F word to say she's going to impeach Donald Trump. Look, Donald Trump doesn't treat anybody with respect. The office of the president, people respect. But they don't respect Donald Trump because he treats no one with respect. I'm not going to treat a guy with respect who doesn't respect anyone. And guess what, Trump supporters? He does not respect the office of the presidency. He does not. He doesn't. The only thing Donald Trump cares about is himself. So don't tell me that he respects the office of the presidency, because he doesn't. The guy's nothing but a hypocrite, and his supporters are nothing but hypocrites. You know, they want, like I said it earlier, they wanted Bill Clinton out of office for the same things they elected Donald Trump. Donald Trump was okay, except he did it to 2 different wives. Well, 3, if reports are right. Bill Clinton, he's only been married once. Okay. I guess the fact he stayed married to Hillary, to them, is like a sin. You know, Newt Gingrich was trying to get Bill Clinton impeached, you know, while he was cheating on his wife. You know, he was after Bill Clinton, wanting Clinton thrown out of office for the Monica Lewinsky scandal. And he was going and having lunch with his mistress during breaks. I mean, if that isn't hypocrisy, I don't know what is. But I'm sure that Trump supporters will say that's okay, because, you know, he doesn't have to live by the same rules we think you guys should live by. So that's our daily Trump, you're an idiot, Trump supporters, you're hypocrites segment, basically. Let's move on now to the stock market. Well, good news today. Good news today with the stock market. It was up 746.94 points. You know, it closed at 23,433.16, which is great news. Anytime the market goes up, it's good news. Even though I was called hateful and a horrible person who was wishing for the stock market to go down. No, I was just pointing something out. I was pointing out that maybe all isn't always rosy with the economy, like Trump supporters want to say it is. And yeah, the jobs report came out today that he said was great, you know, because remember, Trump said the jobs reports were fake when he was running for office, but now all of a sudden they're real and you can believe them. Another piece of hypocrisy by Trump and his supporters. So the job market went up, created 312,000 jobs in December, which was good because, remember, a lot of seasonal workers in December. So we'll see what happens with the job numbers in January. They traditionally go down, and I would happen to think they probably will. So 314,000 jobs, or 312,000 jobs created in December, which is good news. It's good news, considering the economy had basically been stagnant and the unemployment level had actually not done nothing in the last 6 months. So that's good news that jobs were created in December, which they always are in December, around the holidays, Christmas. I better say Christmas. Trump supporters will be offended if I just say holidays. You know, we must use Christmas for every word, you know. So, but the final stock market numbers will go today. We have, under Obama, the stock market went up 3,755.24 points. So far under Trump, it has gone up 3,521.16 points in the same amount of time in office. So the stock market was still better under Barack Obama than it was under Donald Trump. So another thing that the Trump supporters are lying about, which they do best, is lie. That is our final show for the week. We'll be back on Monday at 7 o'clock. I hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.